Good morning, or whatever time of day it is. It's morning here. I brought a sunflower from my garden. Thought it might be a good representation of learning to learn because you may not know this about sunflowers, but they're like kind of in a really cool spiral in the center. So, um, let's talk for a moment about what you're going to be doing today. I think this is one of the more important modules and also one of the most interesting modules because it is literally about learning. And that's kind of one of the main parts of your job, right? Helping students learn and learn better. That's what you're going to be getting at as you work on this module. And hopefully you're starting to see a pattern here where in each module, um, you'll return to the previous reading, both to see it with new eyes and to engage in more of a conversation with others around it. And then you'll add more fuel to your fire by engaging with new ideas in Prusol, with a new set of resources and beginning to process those fresh resources. And during both of those phases, you should have your personal page open so that you can capture in that first part of your personal page the key facts, the terms, the information that you want to remember. But then in the second part, in the chart, the practical ideas for how you're going to use what you're learning in your classroom with your students in ways that make sense to you. So the main thing is don't let good ideas get lost. That's the whole point of the personal page. Because as you're reading these things, you're like, yes, I'm going to remember that. No, you're not. It's too much. The way to remember ideas is to capture them in writing. And that's what I'm going to have you do. Um, and some days there will be some other element thrown into the module. And today, for example, I'm going to have you play around a little bit in with AI, just to kind of start getting used to it. And also, hopefully, you'll learn some from what you're doing in AI as well. I wanted to take a moment and share something you may not have noticed in Prusol that I think you might like. So it's the note-taking feature. And I just started using it myself. So I'm not great at it yet. But so this is what your Prusol probably normally looks kind of like. And it's all about, the conversations. But if you want to switch from having the conversation to taking notes that are just for you, you click, see down here in the lower corner, the lower right-hand corner, it's a little thing where you can take notes. You click that, and then you click New. And you could, for example, have different notes for different parts of this, or you could just use one for the whole thing. But here's the really weird part. You highlight what you want, and it jumps into your notes. Wonderful. The problem is you can only do little bits at a time. Can't explain that. But so let me show you, for example, I'm going to try, putting in these two sentences, and it's going to be too much. So you'll see over here in my notes, it only gave me part of that. And so when I'm using my notes, what I'm started to do is to just do just go little chunk, little chunk, little chunk, and then you get everything. And what's really nice is at the end, you can click this, the download button, and it'll give you a Word document that has all those sentences in it. And you could put those then in, that first part of Prusol where you're just trying to kind of, get key ideas down. It's in some ways, it's not as good as if you were putting the notes in your own words, then you'd have processed them some. But then on the other hand, I think you'll get maybe more and more accurate notes if you did it this way. So I think either way has its pros and cons. But I thought you might like this. And I also discovered that you should take notes first, like in a section, and then go back and add, do your highlighting for the conversations. It just seemed to work better when I did it that way. Okay, so how to get back to having the conversation that you're supposed to have in Prusol? Well, you click on this little current conversation button, kind of on the top right hand, and it'll bring you back in here. So now I can start, highlighting for the purpose of commenting. So that's what I wanted to show you. And I think if you practice it a little bit, you'll find that you can get the notes function to work pretty well. And I'll have more little videos coming later, but I hope that will be enough to get you started.